And good morning once again on this beautiful, beautiful day. When we awaken and realize the table has been set and we can eat as we so choose, knowing that we have no need, we have no wants, for all has been provided, and we have but to sit down and acknowledge that we are the children of the Most High. And God will verify that with signs and wonders. Today is July 23rd, 2023. This is recording 552, entitled, Rob the Enemy of Its Ammunition. Rob the enemy of its ammunition. There's a saying in commercialism or whatnot that says, you know what Smokey says, right? Only you can prevent forest fires. Well, I'm here to tell you, only you can prevent wars between you and some other person. And how do you do it? You rob him. You rob the enemy of his ammunition. You take away its ability to come at you. In a war, how do you win a war? Yeah, but you fight, but the enemy has ammunition, right? And they have factories that are not at the front that are manufacturing ammunition. See, a lot of people think that God was the victor in these world wars and all these conflicts. No, you cut off the ammunition. You cut off the ways, the bridges, the roads, airstrips. You cut them off so that the enemy can't get its ammunition, and they have to use what they have. Jesus Christ has another way. Rob that enemy. Just steal his ammunition from him. How do you steal it from him? With love. What? With love. You don't have to go to him and tell him you love him. You go to God. And as you go to God and tell God that you love him with all your heart, with all your strength, and all your might, then God goes and robs the enemy without even leaving you. Our background scriptures today, John 13:34 and Ezekiel 36:26. John 13:34, Ezekiel 36:26. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that you also love one another. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. I'm going to read it again. A new commandment, a new one. You recall there were 10 others, right? Moses brought 10 commandments. Jesus comes and says, a new one. That would make 11, right? But no, because he did away with 8 and replaced 8 with 2. So now we have what? 3. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy strength, and all thy might, and love your neighbor as yourself. And then he says, a new commandment. A third I add. A new commandment I give. What is a commandment? Something that I expect you to do. Not something that you can consider doing. Not something that you can think about doing. Not something that you can practice off and on. Because in the military, as an underling meets with one of higher rank, what are they commanded to do? Salute. You must salute. I can remember when I was in college there at West Virginia State, and we were forced to take ROTC. And on certain days, we had to dress up in uniforms, and you had to wear them until you could take the uniform off. That's how long we wore them. Some people wore them all day, but we wore them until you could get to a place where you could go change into your regular clothes. And if you were late for class and whatnot, and you were running with your books under your arms, and you came upon this person with a higher rank, which was a college student, you had to stop, salute that person, and then take off again. And I can remember sometimes I just ran past them. You know, because to me it was what? It was more important to get to class on time than it was to stop and salute. And I used to get in trouble. And they said, you really, really don't appreciate this military. I said, no, I don't. I'm only doing this because you're forcing me to do it. So you're not going to go into accelerated? No. When this 2 years is up, you can have this uniform. But the commandment, see, you have to comply. Now, you get in the real military, and they got something for you if you don't stop and salute. Okay? You can go to jail. You can go to prison. You getting my point? Yeah, you can be okay. Yeah, but that was not my plan. But let's get back. A new commandment I give unto you. What's the commandment? That you love one another as I have loved you. If I do not perceive and understand that the love that my wife has for me and the things she does in the household and the things she does for me, if I don't understand that, I don't know how she loves me, do I? I'm just taking certain things for granted. Yeah, sometimes she asks me to do some things that I don't really want to do at that time. But the bottom line is, how can I get up and say, how dare you ask me while I'm sitting here watching a game? Or while I just want to chill and do nothing? Or you get my point? But just yesterday she said, we got to get home so I can get dinner together. That's something some people take for granted. You just come home, walk in the house and go, we've been all day, you ain't got no dinner. Well, I've been with you all day. How could I? Well, we could have stopped and some. You say, no, I'm going to go on in here and sit down and chill till you tell me dinner's ready. Because I acknowledge the thing. I see how you are doing things to make sure that this thing flows. Jesus said, love one another as I have loved you. What had he done? What things had he done to prove his love for them? For the most part, he had protected them for 3 years. Nothing went wrong in their lives. And some of these people had families. He had to make sure that their families were taken care of while they were out traveling around the country with him, not being seen for days on end. Remember Peter and John, and James, and I think Andrew, remember they were fishermen. That's how they made their money. Well, they weren't fishing anymore. How were their families eating? Get it? Love one another. He's showing the provisions that God has for his children because they are acknowledging God. Y'all got to hear this. You got to understand this. Your acknowledgement should be on God 24/7, 365. Your acknowledgement should be thinking about the infinite goodness. The Lord has prepared before me what? A table to eat from. Thou hast prepared before me a table, right? That I might eat from in front of my enemies. What? Can you imagine sitting down eating and somebody standing there hating you? And you wondering whether they're going to slap you upside your head or shoot you or whatnot? And what does Jesus say? If you acknowledge the presence of God wherever you are, ain't nobody going to touch you. Now, if I'm sitting eating and you're standing over here wanting to attack me, am I going to be at peace eating? No. He says, thou hast prepared before me a table in the presence of my enemy. That means I'm going to enjoy that hot dog. I'm going to enjoy that steak. You with me? I'm going to enjoy that pizza. My mind is not going to be on what you might be wanting to do because the Lord has protected. This is what he said, as I have loved you. If you do not understand the love of God, then you will not live without pressure in this world. He says, and then he says that you also love one another. Now, the same love that Jesus. See, a lot of people want to say, but it ain't like Jesus' love. You see what I'm saying? When Jesus was here, he showed me his love. I know his love. And Jesus is saying, yeah, but I want you to love one another with that love that you know I loved you with. So what in the world? How can I love Jesus? I mean, how can I love you with the love that Jesus loved me with, except I spend time in the love of Jesus? Got it? This is why we don't go around looking for miracles. Because most people want a miracle because they just want the monkey off their back. No. Jesus says you need to understand the depth of the love. Remember now, he has not gone to the cross yet. I don't think he has. He has not proven that love would carry him to death. And then it would sing out from the other side and say, I still love you. There's a lot of people, especially in my age group now, guess what they're looking at? Time winding down. And it's not winding down. Time is building up. Why? Because eye has not seen, nor ear heard what I have in store for you. But somebody done sold us a bill of goods thinking that this is the only time we got, right? And when we leave here, we either going to get stamped approved or unapproved. No. If you fall in love with him, he says, love the love that I loved you with and love the ones around you with that same love. A new heart also will I give you. You know one thing that hit me odd the other day, and I was watching this guy. He walks out up, to get his heart rate up and whatnot. And that's what they're telling us. Exercise, right? Get your heart flow up, whatnot. What about the persons whose veins are already clogged up and they don't know it? And they hear that message and they go out to get their heart rate up. Y'all with me? And they die doing the things that's supposed to be bringing health to them. Pistol Pete Maravich, y'all ever heard of him? One of the greatest basketball players that ever played, died on the court. Died getting his heart rate up. You getting my point? So it's not exercise physically. Well, Paul says, this physical body, it's nothing. Like a man said to me the other day, it's not I that die, it's my body that dies. I said, no, your body doesn't die. Your clothes is hanging in your closet. When you stop wearing them, do they die? No. Your body is your clothing. You remain alive. Oh, that thing is rotten. Well, okay, but that's not you. It didn't have any life. You were the life of the body. So he says a new heart. You're not going to get a brand new pump, okay? A new heart, a new way of understanding will I give you, and a new spirit. God doesn't have but one spirit. I know if you go in the Baptist churches, you will see this covenant up on the wall. We are a body of believers that believe in one Lord, one faith, one spirit, one baptism. Well, God does not have multiple spirits hanging in the closet, okay? That when you come to an understanding, he reaches back and get one of those new spirits and no. The scripture said if the same spirit that dwells in Jesus Christ dwell in you, it will do what? Quicken. You mean I have a spirit within me that is able to quicken me? Yeah, but it doesn't quicken me to certain heartbeats or heart rate. What does it quicken me to? It quickens me to an understanding. Quicken your mortal body. If it quickens my mortal body, what is it going to quicken it to? It can only quicken it to one other thing. Immortality. But did God suddenly give me immortal life? No. It quickens me out of my belief of a finite life, and it quickens me into the life that has always been. I am the health of thy countenance. In me is every good thing. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, I am. There is but one word, and I sent it that you might have health. He sent his word, and he healed them. If you will not sit down at that table and eat from that fruitage, then you will be going about trying to figure out how to have a life, and you'll never figure it out, because the only life that is the life that has always been and will always be. Once I get that in my heart, that's the new heart. What shall man do to me? What can man do? He can threaten all he wants to, and he can even scare me with his threats. But I will run into the high tower. I will run into the refuge of the word. Why? Because the word is the only thing that has meaning. The word is the only thing that is true. In the beginning was the word. And the word was with God. And the word was God. And all things were made by him. And there was not anything made that he did not make. And all things were made for his pleasure. So therefore, anyone that is bringing anything detrimental to that word must be taken into incarcerating captivity by their own ill decision. I will give to you a new heart and a new spirit. What is the new spirit? The spirit is the recognition of the spirit eternal, the spirit immortal. For he who bears the spirit of the Lord is changed into a new creature, and nothing shall by any means harm him. It's like the story I told in Sunday school this morning, that this man fell so in love with God, and he lived in Indonesia. And the Spirit of the Lord came to him and says, I want you to pack your clothes, and I want you to go to the United States of America in 2 days. And he told God, I don't even have 2 nickels to rub together. How am I going to raise that kind of money to go to the United States? What do you think God said? What I tell you to do? Pack your bags and be ready to go. 2 days. In day 1, his people came to me and said, man, that's crazy. You're not going to be able to do that. See what I'm saying? Day 2, 2 women show up from a flight 1,500 miles away, look him up, and said, we were sent by God to take you to Doctari for you to make your way to the United States. What do you think he did? He went and got his bags and went with him. When they get to Doctari, he says, okay, God, what's next? He says, you go to the council. Ask for a visa, because you can't go to America without a visa. He goes to the council, and the man says, okay, you want a visa? Yeah. He says, who's sponsoring you? He says, the Lord Jesus Christ. The man looked at him and smiled and said, he's a good person, but no, I can't go on that. So he turns and he walks away, goes home. He says, okay, God, you got jokes, huh? What do you want me to do? God said, go back to the council, ask for a visa. He goes to the council and he walks in, and there's a woman is at the desk now. This guy's moved on. And she says, what do you need? He says, I need a visa to go to the United States. And she says, who's sponsoring you? Guess what he said? The Lord Jesus Christ. She said, oh, okay. Filled out a visa and handed it to him. Are you hearing me? Why is this man able to do these things? Because he's fallen in love with God, and he's fallen out of things that he wants. He's not trying to get Nikes, okay? He's not trying to get suitcases. He's not trying to get cars. He's not trying to get boats and planes. He's what? Lord, I just want to hear your voice. And what is God going to give him? Nikes, cars. He's going to give him those things because what does God know if he sends you to California right now? Does he know that you need money? Does he know you need clothing? Does he know you need a place to stay? But you got to do what? You got to hear him, a new spirit, a spirit that enables you to get quiet, to spend time saying, Father, I don't know how to hear you, but here I am. You know how to make me hear you, though, don't you? See? And God is looking at your intent. Why do you want to hear my voice? Because I want cars and boats and planes and things. You won't hear his voice. But when you want to hear his voice because you love him, you will hear his voice. And what? Won't he give you jobs? Two jobs. Well, you see what I'm saying? You might not think that you love him as much as, but he's saying, hey, man, I take a little bit. Turn a little bit of love toward me. I'll turn it into something else. And at some point in time, like I went down to the DMV, and I'm sitting in the lot waiting on my daughter to show up. And I see the people coming out of the DMV, and the parking lot empties. I'm the only car sitting there waiting on her to show up. Okay? But I found out she went to my house, thinking I was maybe at the house. So now she's on her way. Guess what happens while she's on her way? Cars come in the lot, and 3 cars come in, and 3 people come in, and they go in front of me, and then she pulls up. Where did my mind go? Oh, man. But I went, Spirit of the Lord is here. We go in DMV, and we go and sit down, and we're sitting there, and the first car is still in the window. Then the second car goes up. When the second car goes up, I'm sitting there going, man, this may take a minute. But 2 ladies walk in and sit down at the desk beside the lady that's working. But they're in the window, it says, next window, please, meaning they're closed. So they sitting there just typing away and doing their thing. And the third person goes up. So I just decide, sweetheart, we're just going to sit here and talk to each other. We're just going to have a good time. We're going to be patient. We're going to wait our turn. I'm not going to sit up here and now go, why can't one of them 2 ladies help me? You get me? They back there. No, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to sit here, and we just sitting there laughing and talking and laughing and talking. And guess what happens? The lady at the second window looks up and says, why are y'all here? I said, well, I'm here to gift my vehicle to my daughter. Well, come on up here. We'll get you started. Okay. So I go up there, and she says, you want to give your vehicle to your daughter? Yes. Okay. I said, you don't need that form, right? No. A dad and a mom can gift their vehicle to a child. Whoa, you don't need this form. So we just there standing there, and for 10 minutes, she's taking care of us. That's 10 minutes, right? That we'd have been sitting in them chairs waiting for this woman to go through 10 minutes. So then the third person finishes and turns and walks out. And the lady over at the other counter says, okay, I can take them and finish it up now. Where do you think my mind went? The process. God is with me. I didn't know that was going to happen. But guess what I'm starting to get used to? Going and seeing the presence of God and not caring what it's bringing about, but looking at the process that's putting me at the table before my enemy. What was my enemy saying? If she had got here, we'd have been first. Now we got to go ahead and sit. And two other women, are you seeing what I'm saying? And it cut through all of that. And it says, I will take away that stony heart. I'll take away that heart that thinks negative. Yeah, the negative thoughts are going to come. Well, where should you go? Spirit of the Lord is where I am. And where I am is liberty. Guess what? I am that liberty. Because the Spirit of the Lord is within me. And I will give you a heart of flesh. Now, that right there, it says, I will take away that stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. We need to understand spiritual language here, because it sounds contradictory. Flesh and blood shall not inherit the kingdom of heaven, right? So human beings not going to heaven, but yet he's going to give me a heart of flesh. Why would he give me that which can't go to heaven? No. There's spiritual flesh, and then there's mortal flesh, mortal beliefs. He said, I'm going to do away with your mortal beliefs and show you the flesh, what he calls flesh, show you the flesh of spirit. I'm going to give you a heart like mine, or the ability to believe as I believe. Now we go to Luke 6:27. Jesus says, but I say unto you, love your enemies. Are y'all listening? Bless them that curse you. Wait a minute. No, Lord. You don't know what they said. You don't know what they did. You don't know. Lord, you don't know them like what? I don't know them like you know? Hold up. Now, I'm God. I know them. I made them. Okay? Well, what is he telling me? If you do this, well, Lord, they're going to call me a wimp. Right? They're going to say, I'm just a pushover. All right. You choose which road you want to go. But all you got to do is hear God. And he said, see, I was the master of staying out of fights when I was y'all's age. I knew how to talk my way out, because guess what I didn't want to do? Fight. Okay? It wasn't about whether I was going to win or not. I didn't want to fight. And why did I not want to fight? Because I had been in a couple, and my knuckles hurt after the fight. Okay? My hands swelled up. I got hit in the mouth one time, and the teeth was knocked loose and bled. I was more interested in girls, okay, instead of keeping dudes off me. Got it? So I was, how do I look in front of this girl? And I didn't care that they said, he's scared. I didn't care till they pushed me in the corner. Okay? Now, you pushed me in the corner, I had to come out fighting. I'd fight you. But my thing was what? I don't want to, and I'm going to find a way out of this thing. And I remember one time I was sitting in those little chairs. Y'all don't have them now. And I was sitting in it sideways, down in the chair with my legs up over the Joe, you remember they had my legs. And this dude walked up on me. And he cocked ready to, and there was nothing I could do. I started sitting there looking up at it. And he said, I'm tired of you, oh. I'm going to take you out. And I looked at him and I said, yeah, you might take me out, but we're going to get it on. That was enough. That was enough to talk my way out. Because I wanted him to see I'm going to be throwing a few punches myself. You see what I'm saying? But we're going to get it on. You might beat me. But I notice you don't never come around to fight unless you got 3-4 behind you. I'm willing to take you on one-on-one. But anyway, but I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. Y'all know what hate is? Hate is something so strong it'll do what? It'll take you out. I will kill you. Be careful who you wolf back out there, y'all. Back in my day, you wolfed at somebody, you could wolf back at them. It was just every now and then one of them had a gun. And they like that now. Everybody got a gun. I know you heard about the little 6-year-old. Took a gun to first grade, shot folk. Come on. 12-year-old. It's so easy to give that. Going down the road and somebody go to woofing at you out of a car. You go woofing back, and the next thing you know, you looking down the barrel of a gun. Let's pull over down here. We'll go ahead, pull over if you want to. I throw my hands up and go, dude, you can have all the highway. Go ahead. Why? Because I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless you. Now, if the Lord say pull over, then I'll pull over. Because I know the Lord won't do something with him or her. You get it? If he don't say pull over, I'm heading on down the road. Pray for them which despitefully use you. You ever had people just use you? Just did whatever they wanted to do, got what they wanted, and moved on. Despitefully use you. That you might be the children of your Father which is heaven. If you are the child of your Father which is in heaven, will he watch over you? But you have got to know this. Pray for them that hate you. Do good for them that despitefully use you. Bless them that curse you. There are people out here that you truly believe might be your friend, and they're talking about you behind your back. If he's saying to you, if you will do these 3 things, you may be the children. Now, some of you got children, or some of you are the children of parents. Do they take care of you? Are they buying you clothes, shoes, food? Come on. Think about it. Stuff that you getting upset. I don't want that. But tomorrow, well, maybe I'll go ahead. Right? Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? If your earthly parents will take the time to provide for you stuff that you don't even want, they putting it there. They got to figure out how to get rid of it when you don't want it. That it won't be money wasted. Got it? You just going on going, I like bananas. Why you have to buy Skippy? I like Peter Pan. You with me? You go, I ain't eating that. And your parent doesn't even like peanut butter. What's going to happen to that peanut butter? Man, learn how to eat it. I remember when I was a kid, I used to tell my parents all the time, no, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this. And my mama said, one day you will. I didn't believe her till I got to college. And when it came time to eat, everybody walked in through the door asking the same question. What's the mystery for today? Mystery. We didn't know what they were feeding. And you went in there, and sometimes it was broccoli, asparagus. You with me? Greens. If you didn't, out. Mystery meat. We call mystery meat. Guess what I learned how to do? Eat it. Eat it. Because there were some good cooks behind that counter, and they knew how to make stuff taste good. And I knew how to put salt and pepper. You see what that's why I learned how to love pepper. But the point, what I'm trying to say is, if your earthly parents will do for you on the scale of making sure, you ever seen that kid out in the street and his pants is 3-4 inches up? You laughing at them, right? Not knowing that their parents may not have the means to buy them clothes because they have grown. What if LeBron James was not LeBron James, and I hear his son grew 6 inches in the last 6 months? You think he walking around with pants? Or my grandson who's 6'8"? You never saw him walking around with pants halfway up his legs? You getting my point? If your earthly parents are willing to take care of you, God is saying, I need you to do 3 things. After you love me with all your heart, I need you to do 3 things. What? Bless them that curse you. But while you're blessing them, think about me, okay? Think about God while you're blessing them. Don't just, well, I bless you. That's you. That ain't going to work. Think about God while you're blessing them. Do good to them that hate you. Don't set a trap for them to get caught. When they come to you and say, I need so-and-so, don't just give them, do good. Do something for them that will help them. And pray for them that they would stop doing the ugly things that they're doing and that they may come into a love to learn who God is. God says, you do those 3 things, you will be known as the children of the Father that created all things. Cared for. Can you see that? That's all that's saying. You will be cared for. And people may not know that you're being cared. They may be thinking that your daddy, your mama, got a good job. But the bottom line is, God will take you the way he took Joseph and says, I'm going to make you something that even your daddy, Jacob, won't recognize. Joseph spent 13 years being accused of something he didn't do and spending 13 years in prison, incarcerated in Potiphar's house and then in the big house, okay? And after 13 years, he comes out, and in 2 days, guess what? He is exalted to be the number 2 man in all of the land. The only man greater than he was Pharaoh. And next to Pharaoh, he was. And guess what he rode in? Pharaoh's chariot. Guess what he wore? Clothes given to him by Pharaoh. Guess what he ate? Pharaoh's food. You with me? Guess who he married? Pharaoh's daughter. Are you with me? You will be known. But he wasn't running around telling them, y'all ain't got it right. I'm the only one that know it. He wasn't doing that. He was enjoying being what? The child happy. That's right. He was being happy because he had no worries. Even if Pharaoh had turned rogue on him, Pharaoh did not have any power over him because he knew his Father, which was in heaven. And guess what he says at the tail end of all this? Be ye therefore, what does it say on your paper? Perfect. The one thing that every church on this planet is telling you, you can't be. And you believe in it. Why are you believing it? Because they telling me. What did he say? He said, be perfect. Now, he didn't mean be perfect in the flesh. He means be perfect in your thinking and in your understanding as you move, as you shoot it towards him. Got it? That's perfection, because he is the only perfection. Now, what if I'm thinking the same thoughts that God is thinking? Am I thinking perfect thoughts? That's right. It's like looking in a mirror, and God is saying, this is my child being perfect. The world thinks he has all kinds of flaws. The world is going to mistreat him, but the bottom line is he is constantly looking at me, and I am telling him, be ye therefore. Therefore means in conclusion, in summary. What he's saying is these three things that if you do, therefore they will make you perfect in the eyes of God, even as God, which is in heaven, is perfect. Got it? Now we move on to 1 John 2:8. And we're going to conclude. Who's talking in 1 John? Who's talking in John? John. Got it? John is the one who has done these first two things up here, and now he's writing to us. This is not Jesus now giving us the new commandment. Get it? This is John now giving us a new commandment, because he says, I have proven these things, and he says, again, a new commandment I, John, write unto you, which thing is true in him and in you. Who is the him that it's true in? Jesus. He said, this new commandment that I'm writing to you is true in Jesus, and it is also true in you. Why? Because we're in Jesus. You're not trying to get to Jesus. You have always been in Jesus, and now he's bringing you to the recognition that this thing is true, not only in him, but it's true in you, and you're waking up to it. What are you waking up? Because it's time. Why do we go to school to the 12th grade? To learn to wake up to what? What's happening after grade 12. Got it? Did y'all get that? A whole new world opens up after you get to grade 12. When you get there, remember that I told you, the day after grade 12, you're in a whole new world. What they call no man's land. The only reason why it was good for me was because I knew I was going to college in a couple of months after grade 12. What about the ones who had no place to go? Where did they usually end up? On the street. Some went to military. Some went to technical schools. Some went. But the hardest thing is I got to get a job. And I got to start taking care of myself. Because mama going to say, Daddy going, we don't give you all this stuff out. You can get your butt out here now. I'll help you out, but ain't no more laying up on me. So all them days when they were telling you to cut the grass, with me, wash the car, and you go, They were trying to teach you this is what it's going to be like. Because one day you're going to have your own car. You're going to have your own grass. You're going to have your own apartment. I'll help you. But that's why you're supposed to be doing chores around the house, getting you ready for when the chores are yours. You got it? Because they're going to be yours. They're going to be yours. Trust me, they're going to be yours. He says, because the darkness is past, meaning you have now been awakened to who you are, and the true light now shines. What is the true light? The true light that is mentioned over in Genesis chapter 1, when most people don't even know this is. There is light before there is the sun. You don't believe me? Go look. And God said, let there be light. Then he talks about on the day 1 and day 2, day 3, day 4, all the things he was creating. And then he says, and he created a great light to hover over the day. That was the sun. Where did the first light come from? The first light is an understanding that must come to us that says, I'm God. You're my child. Don't you ever forget this. I don't care what dire straits or what ugly situation you get in. Come home. Come and recognize who you belong to, and I will fix it. And hopefully you'll remember that I fixed it, and you'll stay with me. But most people don't. They get it fixed, and they go back to what they were doing, and they enter up into trouble again. The true light shining. Last scripture, Proverbs 4:18. But the path of the just is as the shining light. Now, I just told you what the shining light was, right? Understanding that God is my Father. Don't you never, I don't care how confused you get with anything and don't know what to do, make it through that doorway and say, wait a minute, God is my Father. And that's the shining light. Father, help me understand. Show me this light that's shining. Because the path of the just. Another story I read, this was odd. God would send these people through the jungles at night without torches, flashlights. And light would appear in their pathway to guide them. You're saying God is that? Yeah, and more. But if you don't open up to allow God to be that, you'll be running around here doing whatever you think and hovering around false beliefs. But the path of the just is as the shining light. The path of the just. Do I consider myself to be just? Yes, I do. But the just that I consider myself to be is a just to where I believe that God is, and that God will show up or prove himself in whatever situation I'm in, like a lady sitting behind a desk typing at a window that says, next window, please. I did not expect that to happen, and yet it did. Why? Because my path is just, because I love the Lord and I'm ever seeking understanding. It is a light that doesn't necessarily shine out here in front of me, but where does it shine? In my consciousness. It shines there. It is as a shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. What is the perfect day? When I know as I am known. God already knows me as the perfection that he created. When I come to that knowing, then that is the perfect day. That's when Jesus says, when you see me, you see him that sent me. Where I am is the glory of God, the perfection of God. And guess what I have done when I practice those three things? I have robbed the enemy of its ammunition. God bless you. Now let's have a meditation. The glory of the Lord is the allness of God. This glory is everywhere. This glory fills all things. And though there be the appearance of several different objects and images, I realize that with perception, my Father which is in heaven is in every one of those things. His presence is ever with me, and it is his desire that I know him, that I be known as his child, that I be a light that shineth in darkness, and that perfect day settle upon me, that all that come within the orbit of my consciousness are blessed, because I have found that which causes my heart to beat. I have found that sets the table, that feeds and nourishes. I have found that that which the heathen seeks for, that which the Gentile seeks for. Not that they're bad people, but I have found, and that I will gladly share. Because now I know that the way that does not provide for the wayfarer is no way to fare upon. And I know that whatsoever God calls to do, just know he provides all things for its maintenance and upkeep. For I am in the Father. The Father is in me. I have no enemy, because all that is God, everywhere present, everywhere knowing, and everywhere all-powerful, that his glory would be recognized and experienced. Praise you, Father. Thank you, Father. Speak, for your servant truly is listening.